Welcome to The Productivity Show, a podcast where we believe you can get the important things done without sacrificing your health, family, and things that matter to you. My name is Brooks Duncan, the COO of Asian Efficiency, where we help people become more productive at work and in life. Today is another Wisdom Wednesday episode where you'll get actionable productivity advice in less than 10 minutes. And the topic today is creating a personal system. These are the productivity tools you use to get stuff done throughout the day, week, month, and quarter. Here's the problem with productivity tools, though. There are just so many of them. And I know we contribute to this by talking about them on the podcast. I know. But think about it. There are time trackers, habit trackers, automation tools, mindfulness apps, mind mappers, outliners, accountability apps, file management apps, scanning apps. There's just no end to the productivity tools out there. There's just so many, and we know it can be confusing and overwhelming. And then to make matters worse, there's just nothing wrong with any of these. In fact, they're all really, really helpful. But the problem is none of these are really foundational. A habit tracker is helpful, but it won't help you long term to make time, energy, and attention for what's important. It's kind of like if you're learning a new sport like tennis. You can go buy the Nike gear that you see the players wear at the US Open. You can buy expensive balls and strings, nice shoes, a nice light racket. But if you don't have the basics of your stroke, none of these are really going to make a huge difference. And it's the same with productivity tools. Here's what we found throughout the years. When you're building your personal system, there are 3 tools that really make a difference. And if you can become solid at using these 3 and have them working together, you have a really strong productivity foundation that can withstand disruptions, lack of motivation, and other things that just inevitably are going to come up. We call them the 3 essentials, and they are a to-do list, which is a way to work through what to do and what's important. Number 2 is a calendar, so you can make time to work on your important and not so important tasks. And a note taker, some way to capture ideas and tasks. Now note that I didn't say the word app in there anywhere. There are lots of awesome apps out there for all 3 of the 3 essentials, and we are going to talk about them. But if you're more comfortable or focused on using pen and paper, go for it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. All right, let's talk about each of the 3 essentials, why they're important, and how you can use them to be super productive. Let's start with a to-do list. A to-do list seems pretty obvious, right? That's why we wanted to start there. It's Productivity 101. You put things on your list, hence the name, and then you check them off as you do them. I want you to focus, though, less on the mechanics of check, and think more about what a to-do list is doing for you. It tells you what you should or could be working on, and it may have a way to track where you are on a project depending on how complex you want to get. If you use your to-do list well, you should be able to glance at your list and know what you can work on in any given moment. It's really, really important that you have a fast and easy way to get tasks into your to-do list, because you want to make sure that if something comes into your life and it's actionable, you can get it on there for when it's time to take action. Now, there's many types of to-do lists you can use. It could be simple as a piece of paper where you write your most important tasks for the day. It could be something more comprehensive like, say, a paper bullet journal. It could be a simple list app like Reminders in the Apple world or maybe Google Keep. It could be a bit more of a complex task manager like Todoist, OmniFocus, or things on the Mac, TickTick, which is getting really popular, or Microsoft To Do. It could also be a visual Kanban board like solution like Trello, or even Post-its on a wall. Or it could be a bigger project management tool like Asana or Jira. If you're not sure what to use, start as simple as possible. Maybe just start with Reminders or Google Keep or even Todoist. Don't overcomplicate things. All right, let's talk about the next essential, which is a calendar. We've all used calendars forever, but I'm not talking about the one that your bank gives you at New Year's. We want to use our calendar for more than just putting birthdays and dentist appointments on. Really, what a calendar could and should do for you is to help you find and make space for the things that are important to you. Once your meetings, appointments, and time-sensitive items are on the calendar, you know what you have to work with and what you can do given your time constraints. And depending on what you use for your calendar, you can even color code or use multiple calendars for different areas of your life, like personal stuff, family stuff, work stuff, planning, trips. The options are really endless. Now, as to what to use for your calendar, you can definitely use a paper calendar, a day timer, or a bullet journal, but many people, myself included, find that a digital calendar is just so powerful and flexible. Now, this may be a hot take, but I think most people should just stick with the calendar that comes with their platform. Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, Outlook, whatever you already have. There are some really great third-party calendar apps out there. Both Tan and I use one called Fantastical, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend you start there because that's just adding one more piece of complication to your life. Just keep it simple. Finally, let's talk about a note taker. There's a lot of dimensions to note takers, but the main aspect I want to focus on is a way to capture ideas, tasks, and things that come to mind. You want to be able to just quickly get that notebook out of your pocket, out of your bag, or fire up your app, whatever you're doing, and just capture it then and there because you are not going to remember it. I 100% guarantee you. I'm sure you've had that experience. We all have, where you have some great idea, you think of something you need to do, but then later you just can't remember it. It seems so obvious at the time, but even just a little while later, it's completely gone. It's just so annoying and frustrating when that happens. And a simple note taker fixes that. Of course, capturing your notes is one thing, but then you need a routine for going back to check your notes and pick out the actionable entries. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. Now, what do you use for a note taker? Really, it's similar to to-do lists in that you can go from really simple to really complex. You could have a simple notebook that you buy from the drugstore, a fancier notebook with a nice paper, or maybe a small notebook like Field Notes. It could be a more structured methodology like a bullet journal, or a simple built-in app like Apple Notes or Google Keep. There's even more full-featured systems like Evernote or OneNote, or you could get really powerful and complex with a linked personal knowledge management system like Obsidian. We talked about that with Nick Milo back in TPS 387. I personally recommend that you start simple. Just use Apple Notes or Google Keep, or a simple notebook if you want to use paper. You can then expand as your needs grow. Again, you can get really complex with this stuff, but we recommend that you start simple. It's more important to get the habit and the productivity muscle memory going than it is to go for some cool system that you hear someone else using. Okay, you have the 3 essentials: a to-do list, a calendar, and a note taker. Now, how do you use them to build your personal system? Well, start with your note taker. Always capture ideas or tasks right away. If it's more convenient to capture them straight to your calendar or to-do list, go for it. Speaking of which, next, use your to-do list. Review what you need to do given your current time, energy, and attention. Make sure to have a regular routine to check your note taker and capture any actionable items. I actually do this on a daily basis. Then use your calendar. What do you have going on? Make time to work on your important tasks, which might involve moving stuff around, canceling stuff if you can. What you want to do is use your calendar to make sure that you have the time and space to do the things that were on your to-do list. Really, what you want to do with your calendar is use it as a way to make space for those important things you have on your to-do list. Once you've done all that, it's time to take action. So here's what I want you to do next. Choose what you're going to use for each of your 3 essentials: your to-do list, your calendar, and your note taker. If you're not sure what to use, choose the most simple option. Always choose the most simple option if you're ever in doubt. Start with having a dead simple and fast way to capture your ideas and tasks, and then go from there and create the rest of your personal system. That's something we teach as part of the 25X productivity system. So thanks so much for listening to The Productivity Show, and I'll see you next time.